Hello, hello, everyone. This is Jasmine, and we are back with another episode for our Not Higher Living YouTube channel. I have another special guest today, Kumbari Owens. Hey, Kumbari.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We're gonna have a good time. I am good. I am great. I am excited to have Kumbari. She is now a friend of mine that I have known. I had to look back at my phone. It's been 5 years. August of 2017 is when I met Kumbari. I was like, well, look at this now. This is a anniversary of sorts. But Kumbari has agreed to come on. The first time I met Kumbari was at the Detroit Natural Hair Expo. It was the first annual at the time in 2017. And her husband, they are the former owners of Everbutter LLC. And it is was a natural hair company. And I met them at that expo. Ironically, at that expo, I bought their book because I said to myself, I wouldn't buy everything there. I bought things afterwards. So I did invest in their products afterwards. But ironically, at a natural hair show, true to my word, I bought 2 books, and one was Kumbari's and the other one was her husband. We actually connected afterwards, and we've created like a connection and a friendship from that. The reason why I have her on today, I wanted you to hear more of her story because she no longer is running Everbutter, but Everbutter is literally just a little piece of their life, but it is a piece of their life that, as you can hear in her story, that it provides persistence, a persistent story and a persistence testimony for anyone who's looking to do something and who is moving forward in their life. So I am going to introduce you again to Kumbari. And Kumbari, you tell your story so people can hear more about it.
Okay. I don't know how to start my story. But so I'm Kumbari Owens, and yes, my husband and we began Everbutter. I believe 2014. And this is when after I had my third child, and she was a girl, and I started making products merely as a means to help her with her scalp. I've always been in the hair and hair care. I loved hair ever since I was younger, and so hair wasn't new. I wanted a girl so I could do her hair, and so when she had issues, me being a problem solver because I came from an engineering background. Me being a problem solver is like, okay, I need to solve this problem. And so that's when I started doing that. But during that time, I was also miserable at my job. I hated working ever since I started working at age 15. So I never wanted to work. I always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And during that time, I was just like struggling with keeping up with work and being a mother because with me, I don't have that balance where I'm a part-time worker and a part-time mother, or
Okay.
I
Makes sense.
want to be full-time with working and
Right.
part-time. And so something had to go. And so my husband, he didn't want me to work, did stop working at that time. But since we had started Everbutter, he's like, okay, it's fine that you don't work.
Okay.
But what led us to start selling it is that it was just like a wheel. I put it on Facebook one day, I had this product. It was a hair butter.
Okay.
If anybody wants to sell it. And so it was a friend that I went to high school with, and she was like, oh, how much you selling it for? I'm like, oh no. So I ran downstairs and I asked my husband, I'm like, somebody wants to buy it. And I'm like, I don't know what this is. Maybe $5. It's like $5. And so that's when it all started. And
wow.
I think like overnight he created labels, like he got an LLC, like he's very business minded.
Okay.
I never wanted to be a business owner. So it's like he kind of took over in that aspect. And I was the one to kind of cater to our customers, formulate products, do everything that
educate.
That was my thing.
Yes.
Education. And so we did that 5 years, and we didn't close because we weren't successful, because we sold in like 6 other countries.
Oh, wow.
We had a chance to sell in Africa, Angola, Africa, and Sri
Wow.
Lanka, Europe. Like we sold like I think like nearly all of the states. Like we were very successful, and a lot of people didn't know that. Like even like my family, my sisters, they actually came out to a we were doing I forget what it's called, but we were trying to get funds, and so a
Okay.
pitch
A
competition.
pitch competition. Okay. Hmm.
And so they came out because we can invite family and friends. So they came out, and my sister, during those pitch competitions, you got to give them the numbers, like
Right.
where we sold. So we're
You have
trying
to
to
be
get
on it.
money.
Yes.
And so afterwards, my sister, when you're a part of family, you think, if somebody doing something, it's like, oh, it's just a
Over
play.
here. Yes.
It's not
Exactly.
something serious that my sister is doing. And so afterwards, she's like, oh my goodness, I did not know you all
Mm,
were that successful, like you all were doing that much
right.
because, and so many people don't think of running a business like hair care, like, unless you're in Target or something, they take you serious. But when you're still
Right.
online,
Right.
it's like people don't take it serious. But we were highly successful. And so we didn't close because we weren't selling. We closed because our finances got tight and having 3 kids. And my husband had quit for a year at Ford because he left Ford because
Okay.
he wanted to focus strictly on growing Everbutter.
Hmm.
We just ran out of funds. And so when he told me that, because he took care of all the financials, it hit me hard. I was like heartbroken. It was like, and immediately after that, he accepted a job in California. So during all of this, it's like a lot was going on. So we
Yes.
moved to California, and that's everything had hit me. Like I didn't know who I was, what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
It's like and then the thoughts of everybody gonna think I'm a loser because we closed
Right.
better, and
Right.
it was like so many emotions going through me, and I did go through a depression, but it
Yeah.
wasn't a depression like people say how you're a working alcoholic, or like you could
Right.
be an
Right.
alcoholic but you're still functional.
For
You
sure.
know,
For sure.
I was like a
A
functional depressed
functional.
person because I still was a mom, so I still had to deal with
Right.
my
Still
mom.
married. Still. Yes. Hmm.
And so I struggled during it just mentally and spiritually, just trying to get myself back together.
Okay.
And piece by piece. And I remember I met you before we left, and you're like,
Yes. Yes.
this is not the end of your journey. And what I learned with closing it and running a business is that that wasn't necessarily, it was the end of the journey with Everbutter, but it wasn't the end
Yes.
of my
Yes.
journey with exploring new things.
Yes.
Many people think, oh, it's a failure, but it wasn't a failure because I think we put a lot of emphasis on numbers, time,
Exactly.
money. Like, oh,
Yes.
you weren't successful because you weren't $1 million or $1 billion company, or you wasn't in business for 10, 20, 30 years. But it's like, okay, so if we go to that sense, we look at a baby. It's like, well, a baby, they're only a baby for a certain amount of time, then they got to grow up.
Exactly.
So it's like
Exactly.
move that next stage in life. And
Yes.
that's what Everybody did. I moved into my next phase of life because my goal was never to be a business owner. It just
Mm.
happened that I did it, but it was a way out of me
Yes.
work, a way out of a job that I hated. It helped me to discover who I was because I went through so many levels of change. It's like I changed my diet completely.
Okay.
I went plant-based. My children, they went plant-based. I discovered
Jasmine fully went plant based because of you.
so I went on a spiritual journey through, like I grew with my husband,
Wow.
like um like I think I realized who I was because growing up, this is one thing that it helped me with. I was super scared of public speaking. I
Really?
would get shaking,
Okay.
sweats, like my voice would start quivering, everything.
Okay.
And nobody would have known because we had to present a lot. We did a lot of pitch competitions. We did a lot of events where we did talks about hair. We did
Webinars, vendor
yeah,
shows, that's where
webinars.
my yes,
We
mhm.
did so much. And so it developed me as a person like more fully because I learned ways to kind of cope with my anxiety with public speaking.
Mm.
I learned to tap into my higher self. Like,
Yes,
some
for sure.
people be like, how do you cope? But it's like I was watching someone and they were like, on the external, your lower self, you have so many different things that's going on. But once you can learn how breathing techniques and all of that
Yes,
stuff, I was
yes.
able to kind of conquer. And the fear was still there, but I'm
Sure.
like
You
talking
know
about,
how to
yeah.
yeah.
And so it was that I matured through that. I learned how to do that. And then even with customers, like I love my customers. It's like
Yes.
I really did, and I talked with them. Like the highlight of my time was when customers emailed me asking me questions, what to do, how to do it. I got so many emails just from customers telling me, "Thank you. You really
Yes.
helped me," because it wasn't about hair. Like my thing wasn't really about hair, it was about health because as I was transforming into health, I was
Yes.
actually doing that with my customers as well, allowing them to understand that healthy hair is a healthy you, healthy body, healthy
Yes.
mind, healthy
Yes.
spirit.
Mhm.
So as I was growing more into that, I was implementing that into our business as well. And so that was the main thing about Everbutter. It wasn't necessarily, and this is what I learned all while I was in California. Like it
Mhm.
wasn't really me selling hair products because I hated that side. I hated like if I could have gave them away for free, I would have.
You would have
But
kept educating and talking to people that
yes.
yes. Mhm.
And so I think of it was highly successful in the sense that I was able to connect with people I would never have connected with, people
Sure.
in Africa, people in Europe, people in Australia. It's like,
Wow.
and then here, here in Detroit, just connecting with different business owners, knowing their story because we had a podcast for a minute. And so we
Okay.
interviewed people and like knowing their stories, their backgrounds, talking with them, even, knowing you, it's like getting to know you. We became friends
Right.
through
Exactly.
Everbetter. So it was a highly successful venture that I went through and I don't consider it a failure at all. I don't think, and it's like, and then it also on my husband, we did it. It brought us closer together.
Mm,
And
mhm.
I had tried for a minute because I'm like, I'm not ready to let it go. And so I tried to kind of
Hold on. Yes.
do it,
Mhm.
still do it on my own. But I realized I don't really want to do Everbutter if he wasn't doing it with me. I don't want to do
Wow.
other business if he wasn't doing it with me because it was something that, him and I connected with,
Sure. Sure.
and so it everybody it turned out the way it should have turned out because right now I'm a full-time mom and I am loving it.
Yes, yes.
And although everybody kind of like, fizzled out, it's still something that was really near and dear to me. I still hold dear, our customers because, people when they run a business and I ran into them so much, they get the big head like they're something, they're real something, look at me,
Yes.
even
Right.
celebrities, they get this big head, but you're nothing without your customers, without either, if they stop buying it, guess
Right.
what? You
Yes.
back to where you were. Even with celebrities, if they stop watching your movies, stop buying your music, you're nothing. And so I never even considered myself in one moment, like, oh, look at me, I'm something special because I'm nothing special if I don't have the people surrounding me that will make me something special, you know?
I just want to clarify you're talking about your brand and the business because you are special. And
Yeah,
you,
yes,
yes,
of
okay.
course.
So, yes, you have it in, yes, like in perspective to say, like, no, in order to be a businesswoman who's selling
Mhm.
products, I need to have customers. So you're
Yeah,
honoring the customer. Okay. Because you
exactly.
are. I just need to make sure everybody knows.
And that's another part. It's like I realized because so after we stopped doing Everbutter, I was out of left engineering 5 years, and
Okay.
with any field, that is a long time to leave, and
Sure.
to get back in it is very difficult.
Hmm.
And so it was, we were financially, we were strapped when we moved to California. So my husband, he was like stressed. He was like, I need you to get a job, but I couldn't find nothing.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so it wasn't really my scene in California. It's like tech and, yeah, they
Mm.
had Tesla for cars, but I wasn't really interested.
Okay.
And they weren't really hiring like my field,
Under your,
my
yes. Okay.
expertise. And so, I figured out that, I struggle with, okay, I'm nothing because I'm not working. I don't have a
Sure.
job. You know,
Sure.
what am I? Who am I?
Yep.
And, being a woman, or not even being a woman, living as a person in this an American society where they put so much pressure on people and emphasis on what are you doing? How much
What are
money
you doing?
what car
Exactly.
you have, what house.
What do
It's
you
like,
do? Yes.
yeah, and that's the first question you ask people, "Oh, what do you do?" And it's like,
Exactly.
I'm not what I do. I am who
Yes.
I am,
Come on. Yes.
And so, I realized that, like, you know what? It doesn't matter if I'm working or not working, I'm still me,
Right.
I still can I'm providing the best life for my children. This is what they should. I'm giving them my all, my best. I'm giving my husband my all, my best.
Right.
Teaching them about health, teaching them about, gardening, whatever it is. I'm teaching them the what's valuable in life and not what's like intangible. It's not like
Right.
money. I realize that money is my energy. You make money to live, but you have to go to work. You have to, and so money is. It was someone who said, money is only energy. There's like, and it keeps going. And I didn't understand it at the
Mhm.
time. I'm like, oh, okay, but I realized that it's energy because I am the currency. Money is
Correct.
just the paper, I'm the
Yes.
currency.
Right.
And if I'm going to work, I'm expending my energy, I'm making that money
Right.
because for my energy, it's
Exactly.
coming from my energy, if you understand that.
Oh
So
yeah, I'm reading the book by Hill Harper. He said that it's a chapter, "Money is Energy," because it
yeah,
used to be that people exchange animals. They
yeah.
used to eat produce, so it's just like it was the exchange. So whatever the energy was, like you're saying, that
Mhm.
is what makes the money, or it's paper, right? You're saying it's
Right.
paper right now. Hmm.
So it's like if you think of it in that sense, it's meaningless because whatever I want to spend my energy on, that is the value, that is the currency. So I want to spend my energy on my family.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky to do that because my husband, he works now. I mean, he wasn't the happiest, but he realized that I'm at my best when I am with my family, when I'm able to provide, them 100% of my attention.
That's
And so,
beautiful. Yeah.
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 And
It-
so, yeah, and it's just so much that it was a journey into knowing, rediscovering
yes.
myself, and Everbutter helped me do that. And so nothing is lost if you're able to see the silver lining, get the things that you're supposed to get out of every situation.
I love
You know?
it. Yes, and I love how you honored, and we joked around, but I'm glad you brought it back to you did have to go through that process of like, wait, who am I? Because
Mhm.
sometimes people say, well, you know what, I became a better person for it, from it or for it, but you had to really navigate through it in order
Yeah.
to become it.
Oh,
because
yeah.
so many times we, like you said, the filter of Western society is, okay, you are what you do. You are
Yeah.
what you do. Like whatever you do, that's, oh, you're a CEO. Oh, you're a, a COO, or you're a garbage man. Oh, you're a, we fill in the blank, and then you're
Yeah.
sized up. And we even size ourselves up. But like you said, you had to see, wait, who am I? And Everbutter really help you take through the process and navigate through the process and parse out, like, okay, who I am is here. And
Right.
then what I love about it is that you are absolutely right. Your persistence and your willingness to start something and give it a try and be successful at it. And what people, to your point, they live at the success level and just try to stay there because
Yeah.
it's almost like a high. I need to get back to that level so people can see me, so I can be okay, in other people's eyes. But it
Yeah.
sounds like even in that stage of success, you knew that, you know what, I am not this big head, so to speak, like you said. I am still a person, and you had a gratitude for your customers and your clients and who you were connected with. But I am grateful that you're able to like put the threading between the story, because that is really what healthy relationships skills are all about. Like you
Yeah.
said, I tell you, what I just told you the date, June the 29th, and I think it was 2018. Because when did you leave to California? Was it 19?
It was the end of 2018. So we got there. My husband, he left a few months earlier, but me and the kids, we got there I think December 21st.
Okay,
And so,
18.
yep, 2018.
So that is when, because we met in 17 and then was June, because I was leaving your house, and I remember it was I just told you the name, the Pears, the Pear
Yeah.
Brothers.
The Happy
Yes.
Pair.
Happy Pears. And that was the last time that I was still eating chicken, I was still eating fish. And you gave me an option. And I wanted to bring it back to that because that's what you always were. I still have my notes, and it's in my notebook with the webinar that we went through. That was the first time I heard a breakdown of like how your hair grows in different sections. And
Yeah.
like you broke it down to the point that if you have issues in parts of your head, that could be the reason why you're having hair thinning and hair loss. And there are, multiple things. But I was just like, who is this educator? And like that is what you were really connected to. It was almost like the products were your entry point to say, I know you're interested in the product, but I don't want you just to be topical. I want you
Yeah.
to understand that's under the surface, that's more most important. And then you can have that beautiful external, as you're the one who told me about what were you doing? You were doing the cleanses and the
Yes.
detoxes,
Yes.
and how you had the headache. And I was just like, what are you doing? But again, through your process of finding and discovering yourself through a business, through
Mhm.
your journey, and it was a beautiful journey for you in this regard. You wanted to find something better for your daughter,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
were able to create something that helped hundreds and thousands of people, and you were able to discover. So in that, I do have something that I wanted to share to honor Everbutter, the founder, and my friend, because again, this is an example of persistence, and I have 10 examples of people who are famous who use persistence for success. Because let me tell you, I'm not saying what's going to happen or what's not going to happen. Kambari is a success, and you are a success right now.
Oh,
You just
well,
never know what will transpire and what will continue to move on. So here are 10 people, and we know the names. So Jim Carrey, the actor and comedian, he was actually booed off stage. It was his first comedic stand-up. And when he presented his impersonations, he was booed off stage. And we all know Jim Carrey to this day is a funny guy. Just think if he would have stopped then. But it was in 1980. He was even rejected for Saturday Night Live. I don't even think my interviewee. I don't think you were born in 1980, were you? No.
I was
Okay,
born
so
in 1982.
so there we have it. You weren't even thought of right there. Number 2. So we're in Detroit and we are Michiganders.
Mhm.
Eminem struggled with bullying, drugs, poverty, and lack of education. Now, Eminem, if you don't know him, check him out. But Eminem is known now. He was a high school dropout, and now he's a winner of 13 Grammy Awards. So that's pretty huge. Catherine Stockett was rejected by 60 literary agents. And if you don't know who she is, she's the author of The Help. It was a
Oh, wow.
it sold over 10 million copies and it turned into a movie. And then Thomas J. Watson, he was conned and had no money, investment, or job. And then let's see, he became the CEO of IBM and helped grow the company. So again, these are people who, if they would have stopped at one point in time of their life, we would never hear of them. And then J.K. Rowling was jobless, divorced, and lived off welfare. And J.K. Rowling, as many people know, she is the Harry Potter originator and creator, and more than 400 million copies of her books have been sold.
Oh, yeah.
Alrighty, number 6. Nelson Mandela served 27 years in prison. And no longer is he with us, but his spirit lives on. And he has, I love the movie, now it's escaping me, but I've watched his movie, it's escaping me, but Nelson Mandela, I want to honor his legacy. It's going to come to me. And then number 7, Michael Jordan. Not Michael B. Jordan, Michael Jordan. The basketball player was cut from his high school basketball team. And no one can, everybody wants to be like Mike. I mean, let's go.
Yep.
And then Steven Spielberg got rejected from film school 3 times. Steven Spielberg. Think about all the movies that you have watched that came from Steven Spielberg, excuse me. And then Elvis Presley was fired after his first performance. He no longer is with us either, but Elvis Presley lives on. He has a whole world that I think celebrates him more now that he's no longer here, but he was fired after his first performance. And then finally, Colonel Sanders slept in his car and was told no 1,009 times. And Colonel Sanders is the founder of KFC. So the reason why I read that to you and I wanted to honor this in this interview is that, like you said, you didn't fail. You attempted and you were successful at trying something. And I think a lot of people, they put success in, like you said, this box and this miniature definition of whatever it is, and they only look at numbers. But it's not a failure if you learn something and you keep going. And then sometimes we do have to stop and adjust. But again, what was the lesson learned? And you have beautifully and wonderfully stated that you learned how to be and who to be more of who you are, and
Yeah.
you learn how to become fully capable and comfortable into speaking into who you are. You're speaking. So I'm not going to push and I'm not going to pretend like she doesn't have things that she may be doing, but we'll see. And you know what? Even if you don't, it's fine. But who you become, that's the success. And success, you found your purpose and you're sharing with your family, you're sharing with your friends. Again, I do want to share this story, how that you and your husband allowed me to come into your home after I read the book. I said, I know this is weird because we didn't end up living far away from each other.
Right.
I bought a book and I purchased their products. Literally, your products were the only products that I used for an entire year. So, and that really, really helped. So that's what I was like, can you make it on the side? Because what am I going to do? But in that, I wanted to share with people. That was the reason why I really connected with you and your husband, because you welcomed me in. We had a conversation. It was several hours and it was just really communicating. I think the education factor, how you had it, you were real people who you just let me into your world. And again, I didn't know I was on the plant-based radar. Coach Lisa is one person that started me off, but like you just carried it, and like we're gonna have our vegan fest and we have, created meals together, and we're gonna still do that. But I think saying that out loud to people, understanding that healthy skills being developed, learned, and thrive, that's one thing that the YouTube channel is all about. It was definitely process. oriented. Like you had to walk it out step by step. And I wanted to honor you, and I wanted to have you share your story so that people could know that you are still out here. You are, you have gone through your process, and you have seen that whatever Ever Butter was all about, it was not simply only about hair. It opened up other pathways for you. So do you have anything else to share as we wrap up this interview?
No, just thank you for, seeing me as a person to interview, you know,
Yes.
because, and you had said something at the end. You said, I'm still here after Everbutter. And so many people think, like even with celebrities and, business owners, once they stop doing it and they're no longer in the limelight, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, what are they doing now? You think they're
Sure.
just sitting on the curb, but it's like, we get back to life, it's you do the things that you were doing, or
Yes.
and you do it even better. And so
Yes.
it's like, yeah, I'm still making hair products, but not for people. I make it for
Yes.
our
I'm still trying to
household.
get in, y'all. I'm still trying to get in. Like,
I make it for our household and I love it. I've told
mhm.
my daughter I'm going to teach her how to do it because I think, people should know how to make their own stuff.
Sure.
And so, my boys, all boys want to grow their hair out at this time. And so, I
Hmm.
make stuff for them. And it just so happened my oldest son, he's going through some issues with his scalp. So it's like now, hey, I
The
have to,
doctor is
I
out.
know, yeah. And so it's I just thank you and appreciate you for continually being in my life because you are persistent and you know exactly what you want and you have allowed me to be that because I'm not sometimes it's like it is what it is. I'm not persistent. I'm not going to keep at it but going through this process, sometimes you do have to know when to call it, and sometimes you have to know when you keep going.
Exactly.
And, I could have just stopped and just, folded up in my bed and, just, not
Right.
wanting to go on because everybody had ended. But it was a process for me to be persistent in developing. It's like, the butterfly in a cocoon,
Right. Right.
I had to Everbutter, I was in a cocoon. To me, I was in a cocoon with Everbutter
Mm.
while I was doing Everbutter.
Okay.
But once I left, I was able to come out of it as a butterfly. And so
Oh, that's beautiful.
um I count it as, all good. It was a great experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything, but I'm happy that it did end, in a sense.
Uh huh.
But because it's you just realize a lot of things that you didn't like and that you did like. Like I said, I was never a person who wanted to be a business owner. I only
Okay.
wanted to do it because my husband was in there doing it with me.
Wow.
So um it was great. And anybody who's out there, who wants to be a business owner or who's a business owner or stop, just know like you're still that person who was running the business and you're going to be that same person after your business. Don't be afraid to close it because of what others think. If it's time, then it's time. And that's what I'm learning. I'm following the force, the energies of the life, of nature. Sometimes we try to force things, and if we just allow it to flow like the ocean,
Like the
just let it
seasons.
flow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Things will be better for us. Learn to let go. And with Everbutter, I was trying to hold on to it because I
Right.
didn't know who I was. That's why I was trying to hold on to it because I put my whole identity in that.
Mm.
But that wasn't who I was. And that's what I learned from it. And I'm so much more than that.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Wow.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. So there you have it, everyone. We have another episode. Owens. the former co-owner of Everbutter LLC, but not the only thing that she does. It's who she is. She's Kambari Owens, and she has so much more in this life to give. So thank you very much for coming and sharing with me, Kambari. And until we meet next time, oh yes, please share, comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. This is going to be another one of the many things that I love to do, is to bring people on to remember, we want to develop, we want to learn, we want to practice and thrive in our healthy relationship skills, because we can make this world a better world if, like you said, Kambari, we can be who we were designed to be. So until next time, everybody, have an amazing day.